Hello once again, everybody. An update on what's happening with Louisiana's Raging Cajuns, the LSU Fighting Tigers, and the New Orleans Saints. First off, news surrounding Louisiana's Raging Cajun football team. They went up to Murfreesboro, Tennessee last Saturday, played the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders in a Sun Belt Conference matchup, and came up a little bit on the short end of the stick as the Cajuns lose 34-17 to the Blue Raiders. Cajuns led the game at halftime 17-14, but Middle Tennessee outscores the Cajuns in the second half 20-0 to take home the 34-17 victory. Middle Tennessee with 505 yards of total offense in the game. Cajuns 293 yards of total offense. Some individual leaders for the Cajuns on the ground. Yobus Walker, the young freshman, able to generate 22 yards in the contest on 10 carries. Chris Mason, the quarterback, threw for 220 yards in the game. Mason 25 of 43 through the air. 1 touchdown and 1 interception. And in the receiving department, Richie Falgood caught 6 passes for 76 yards. The Cajuns now 5-5 overall on the year, 3-3 in Sun Belt Conference play. The good news for the Cajuns is that they play their final 2 games of the year at the friendly confines of Cajun Field. Next matchup for the Cajuns is coming Saturday evening as they play host to the ULM Warhawks in Sun Belt Conference action. Pre-game show will begin at 5:30 on Sports Radio ESPN 1420, ESPN1420.com, and the Raging Cajun Radio Network, with kickoff time set for 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, the LSU Fighting Tiger football team rebounded from their loss to Alabama the previous Saturday by defeating the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in non-conference action Saturday evening at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. LSU wins that one by the final score of 24-16. LSU actually trailed that game at the half as the Louisiana Tech led it 13-10 at the half, but LSU outscores Louisiana Tech 14-3 in the second half to take home the 24-16 victory. LSU actually outgained by Louisiana Tech, 321 total yards for Louisiana Tech to 248 for LSU, but LSU again the winner in the game. Individual leaders for LSU through the air, quarterback Jarrett Lee was 7 of 22 for 105 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. On the ground, former Northside Viking running back Keelan Williams, now a senior for LSU, 15 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And in the receiving department, Brandon LaFell caught 2 balls for 54 yards. LSU back in action this coming Saturday as they travel to Oxford, Mississippi to take on the Ole Miss Rebels in an SEC affair. Kickoff time in that one is set for 2:35. Meanwhile, Louisiana's Raging Cajun men's basketball team came up a little bit on the short end of the stick Saturday evening in their 2009-2010 regular season opener as the Cajuns fall to the Southern Miss Golden Eagles 79-72. Cajuns out-rebounded in the contest and also outshot from the free throw line. Those two things proved to be the demise for the Cajuns. Southern Miss, as a matter of fact, able to out-rebound the Cajuns 2-1 as they had 40 rebounds compared to 20 for the Cajuns. And in the free throw department, Southern Miss able to connect on 27 of 29 free throws. The Cajuns only 12 of 23 from the charity stripe. For the Cajuns at a losing cause, they were led by the 14 points of Randall Dago and Lamar Roberson. Cajuns return to action Monday evening as they play host to Louisiana College Wildcats. It's a 7:15 tip-off time. That game will follow the women's contest, which will be at 5 o'clock. The UL women will take on LSU Shreveport in an exhibition game. Speaking of the UL women, well, good news for them as they came back from a 12-point halftime deficit to come from behind and defeat the Texas Southern Lady Tigers 64-57 in their 2009-2010 Little Lifter. Coach Al Rogers' squad again back in action Monday evening against LSU Shreveport, and then back in action for real on Saturday, November 21st, as they play host to the Southern Jaguars. That'll be a 2 o'clock tip-off time at OK Long Gym. Leading the way for the UL women in that victory over Texas Southern, Mercedes Johnson, who poured in 16 points in the game. Meanwhile, New Orleans Saints, well, they continue to be undefeated. Saints had a little bit of a scare against the St. Louis Rams, but came up on the happy end of the stick, so to speak, 28-23. The Saints win that one. They scored on the second play of the second quarter and really never looked back from there. The Rams actually had a chance to win the game. They had the ball in their hands, but they ran out of time, and the Saints win it 28-23. Saints actually outgained in the game by the Rams, who fell to 1-8. The Rams 434 yards of total offense. The Saints with 420. Saints quarterback Drew Brees 18 of 26 in the game, threw for over 200 yards, 223 to be exact, 2 touchdowns, and also 2 interceptions. Reggie Bush had a nice game, 83 yards on 8 carries, also a touchdown run for Bush. And in the receiving department, former Opelousas High standout Devery Henderson caught 4 passes for 72 yards. The Saints remain undefeated, 9-0. They match the longest win streak in the franchise history. Saints back in action this coming Sunday as they play host to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Louisiana Superdome. Finally, we go to the world of high school football. Acadiana area teams that were in action Friday evening in the first round of the playoffs. Acadiana defeats Terrebonne 37-14. Acadiana will play host to Archbishop Shaw this Friday evening. That's a game you can hear right here on Sports Radio ESPN 1420. Como upsets Dutchtown 17-7. Como will host Catholic High of Baton Rouge this coming Friday evening. Also, in the 4A bracket, it'll be Cecilia hosting Benton. Cecilia defeated Alexandria this past Friday evening, 27-13. Should also mention Westgate as I go back to the 5A bracket just for a bit. Westgate will play host to South Lafourche. Westgate defeated Mandeville Friday evening by the final score of 21-14. And of course, bad news for the St. Thomas More Cougars as St. Thomas More was upset in the opening round of the playoffs as St. Thomas More falls to Thibodeau in overtime, 15-14. But another great season for Coach Jim Hightower and his St. Thomas More Cougars. Again, back to the 4A bracket, it was Cecilia upsetting Alexandria 27-13. Cecilia will host Benton this coming Friday evening. Other 4A games involving Acadiana area schools Friday evening. Breaux Bridge are rout over East Jefferson 42-6. Breaux Bridge will play host to Salmon this coming Friday evening. Also in the Acadiana area, it was Northside winning as they defeated Bossier 35-12. Northside will be on the road to take on Jennings, who defeated Bellchase 41-28. Meanwhile, we go to the Class 3A bracket. Notre Dame rolls over Carver in an opening round matchup, 43-14. Notre Dame will be on the road to take on North DeSoto. Meanwhile, Eunice, the Bobcats, a winner over John McDonough, 40-12. Eunice will travel to Redemptorist in second round action. Catholic High of New Iberia advances, defeating West Feliciano 35-33. Catholic High of New Iberia will host Bogalusa this coming Friday evening. Kaplan upset by Richwood 36-35. And meanwhile, another score for you. Crowley defeats Livonia in 3A action last Friday evening. Crowley wins that one 20-0. Crowley will travel to Parkview Baptist, the number 2 3A team in the state, this coming Friday evening. Meanwhile, Acadiana area schools in the 2A bracket from last Friday. Opelousas Catholic defeats Laurelville 29-12. Opelousas Catholic will host number 1 seeded John Curtis this coming Friday evening. And also, Jeanerette was involved in Class 2A action Friday evening. Jeanerette falls to Springfield 45-12. Also, Lake Arthur advances. They defeat Rose Pine 16-13. Lake Arthur will play host to Manning this Friday evening. Finally, we go to the 1A bracket. Central Catholic of Morgan City eliminated by Ouachita Christian 66-34. Westminster eliminates Delcom 40-7. Westminster will travel to take on Grambling this coming Friday evening. Gaydon survives. They defeat Cedar Creek 28-26. Gaydon will travel to Delhi Carter this coming Friday evening. Basile falls in overtime to St. Mary 14-13. And finally, Vermilion Catholic falls to West St. John 53-0. Reminder, Raging Cajun basketball Monday evening, Cajuns playing host to Louisiana College, 6:45 pregame, 7:15 tip on Sports Radio ESPN 1420. And Cajun football Saturday, Cajuns taking on the ULM Warhawks, pregame show 5:30 on Sports Radio ESPN 1420 and the Raging Cajun Radio Network. Kickoff time set for 6 o'clock. We'll be back next week to tell you what's going on with Louisiana's Raging Cajuns, the LSU Fighting Tigers, and the New Orleans Saints. This is ESPN1420.com.